It had all begun in the 1800s when Germany had wanted to achieve unification among the country. Although Germany did not achieve unification until 600 years later after the French Revolution, the Germans had looked back on that event and were inspired. The French Revolution had demonstrated the power of unity between a country's people towards a common goal in nationalism. Before the unification of Germany, Germany had been fragmented into as many as 300 separate states ever since the investiture struggle in the Middle Ages had wrecked the power of the German emperors. Germany had suffered repeatedly from foreign wars and aggression during Napoleon's rule. In 1806, Napoleon condemned 16 German states except Austria and Russia in the Confederation of the Rhine after he defeated Austria and Russia in the Battle of Austerlitz. The Confederation of the Rhine lasted from 1806 to 1813. The Confederation of the Rhine consisted of all territory west of the Rhine River and was annexed outright, and the first steps towards consolidation were taken by compensating the larger German states for losses, thereby awarding them territories of secondary German states. The Confederation of the Rhine was abolished after Napoleon's fall from power in 1813. The consolidation that it brought broke down barriers and later contributed to the movement of German unification. In September of 1803, war had broken out between France and Prussia. Napoleon dictated to Prussia that it must either bind to France or prepare for war. The Prussian army was, however, completely destroyed within 6 weeks, ceding much of Prussia to France. Prussia would be dominated by Napoleon until 1812. At the Congress of Vienna in 1815, the Confederation of the Rhine was dissolved, and those states came together with Prussia and Austria in the German Confederation. After the Congress of Vienna, much emphasis was placed on the economy. There were high tariffs between states, but aristocrat landowners pushed for free movements of goods. In 1818, the King of Prussia abolished the tariffs in his territories, and since then the Zollverein was made under his leadership. The Zollverein was a customs union where all internal barriers to trade were removed. The Zollverein provided uniform currency, system of weights and measure, and allowed for the free flow of goods across its member states, along with offering tariff protection against foreign competition. By 1844, almost all of the German Confederation was a part of it except Austria. The Zollverein was a major factor for unification as it boosted economy and allowed Prussia to rise to leadership. At the start of German unification, since there were economic advantages of German unity under the Zollverein, it had seemed possible that further gains might be made under political unification. The Frankfurt Assembly of 1848 failed to achieve unity. Force would be needed to hammer Germany into a single nation. The principality with the necessary power was Prussia, but at the same time Prussia was indifferent to the notion of German unity. Prussia had wanted to grow bigger at the expense of Austria. For Prussia to challenge Austria, it needed a bigger army. In 1862, King William I desired a larger army, but could not get Prussian Parliament to raise the taxes necessary for his expenditure. At this time is when King William I appointed Otto von Bismarck as Chancellor. When Bismarck was appointed to Chancellor, he ignored the Prussian Parliament and continued to reform the military. Bismarck ordered the taxes be collected without the consent of Parliament. The money from these taxes would go to military use to expand and strengthen Prussian armies. In 1864, Denmark tried to illegally annex the Duchy of Schleswig. Bismarck asked Austria to join Prussia to fight against Denmark. Denmark had lost and Austria gained additional territory in Holstein. Friction then arises between Prussia and Austria, which later led to the Austro-Prussian War of 1866, also known as the 7 Years' War.
Created using Powtoon.
Bismarck sought to unify Germany by force. Bismarck wanted Britain, France, and Russia to remain neutral, and the Prussian king to be induced to declare war on Austria. He wanted other European powers not to fear Prussia and get the Austrians to start the war. France and Russia remained neutral, and Britain did not want any part of it. France had hoped for a long war between Austria and Prussia so that they can claim territory along the Rhine. On April 8, 1866, Prussia and Italy had formed an alliance. On April 21, 1866, Austria received false reports that Italy was mobilizing its troops. Austria then mobilized its army against both Italy and Prussia. Austria had presumed that Prussia already declared war on Austria, but the Austrians did not know that Prussia could not take the first move unless Austria had acted first. At the end of the war, Prussia is dominant in northern Germany. Austria is forced to give up the Holstein territory and the German Confederation is over. Prussia gains additional territory and consolidates its power with the Northern German Confederation. The next war was the Franco-Prussian War. The Franco-Prussian War lasted from July 19, 1870 to May 10, 1871. Prussia's defeat of Austria in the Seven Weeks' War in 1866 had confirmed Prussian leadership of the German states and threatened France's position as the dominant power in Europe. The cause of the Franco-Prussian War was when Bismarck and Spain's de facto leader Juan Prim persuaded the reluctant Prince Leopold of Hohenzollern-Sigmaringen to accept the Spanish throne in June 1870. This greatly alarmed France, who felt threatened by a possible combination of Prussia and Spain going against them. Leopold's candidacy was withdrawn under French diplomatic pressure, but Prussian King William I was unwilling to bow to the French ambassador's demands. Bismarck edited William's telegraph description of this interview, and he published his provocative message on July 14th. This accomplished his purposes of infuriating the French government and provoking it into a declaration of war. The French Emperor Napoleon III declared war on Prussia on July 19, 1870. Bismarck saw war with France as an opportunity to bring the South German states into unity with the Prussian-led Northern German Confederation and build a strong German empire. The culminating triumph of Bismarck's plans came on January 18, 1871, when King William I of Prussia was proclaimed German Emperor at Versailles, the former palace of the kings of France. The Franco-Prussian War established both the German Empire and the French Third Republic. With Napoleon III no longer in power to protect them, the Papal States were annexed by Italy, thereby completing the nation's unification. This coalition of German states, led by Prussia, defeated France. This war marked the end of French hegemony in continental Europe and resulted in the creation of a unified Germany. After the Franco-Prussian War, the defeat of Napoleon's Second Empire of France was made complete on May 10, 1871, when the Treaty of Frankfurt am Main was signed. This treaty had ended the Franco-Prussian War and marking the decisive entry of a newly unified German state on the edge of European power politics. Bismarck officially unified Germany by declaring the Second Reich and crowning Wilhelm as Kaiser. This newly unified Germany would become an economic superpower by rapidly industrializing. The German steel production doubled every decade between 1870 and 1910. While its economy forged ahead to make it the most advanced nation in Europe, its political structure resisted any liberalizing trends and remained conservative and autocratic. Germany maintained an increasingly obsolete social structure of rich landowners who had mechanized their farms at the expense of the peasants and even richer capitalists, making profits at the expense of a downtrodden working class and shrinking class of small shopkeepers and craftsmen. This was a time period of discontent that was focused against groups such as Catholics, socialists, and especially Jews. This banner discontent would be picked up by Adolf Hitler and the Nazis, whose terrorist programs would plunge both Germany and the world into a much worse nightmare than even World War I proved to be.
Created using Powtoon.